Hello, everybody. How is everyone? Just turn this on. Of course, I had to spill my drink again, like last time. So, okay. How's everybody? Looking at anything I can use to clean the spill here. And that's nothing. Yeah. Anyways, we'll deal with it. So, hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. Another live show starting at the moment. And so this looks good. Let me just change this here. Here we go. This here on this side. And we are all ready. Welcome aboard, everyone. This is the Shortwave Radio Live Show. We are here twice a week talking about radio. And of course, I have my drink that I spilled some of it. And cheers, everybody. This is a vodka cranberry juice. And here we go. So welcome aboard. This is a shortwave radio show. We talk about radio, everything that is 30 megahertz or below most of the time. We sometimes go 30 megahertz or above. And I hope that you enjoy the show today. We are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Joel, and of course, we have a radio running here on the screen. That is the SDR Play RSPDX receiver plugged into the MLA30 loop antenna outdoors. And of course, we are twice a week. We are on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 0 UTC. On Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 20 hours UTC. And we done the recording of the International Radio Report with Sheldon at 1 p.m. We usually do this. So a few hours, 3 hours before we do this. From 1 to 2 p.m., me and Sheldon do the International Radio Report show that is airing on Sunday on ckut.ca website. You can hear the streaming 14:30 UTC. That's 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And of course, if you are in Montreal or around Montreal, you can listen to the radio, 90.3 FM. So the show is sent in for this coming Sunday for all of you enjoyment. Hope you enjoy the show as usual. And, well, we have a beautiful chat room here that is amazing people that are here to talk radio, interact, and it's really a nice group. And it is also a nice group that part of it is in the Facebook group. We have a Facebook group because when this show is over, well, where does everybody go? Go back to your man cave alone in your basement, your man room. And, it gets back to that normal, I've got, I'm all alone listening to the radio. Well, you don't have to, because what happens is that you just go to the Facebook group, official SWL channel, 730 members, something like that. Really nice group with very polite, very amazing people that are there to have fun with radio, nothing else. This is the fun part of the group because we tolerate zero, zero ranting, zero politics, zero religion. It's not there for that. You're there for radio. You're there to enjoy radio. So it's a bunch of great people just having fun, sharing what they're listening to, and just, playing radio, geeking out with other people. So when this show is over, you don't feel alone. You still have that group to go to that you can actually share more radio news and stuff. So it's kind of cool. Official SWL channel is the name of the group. You got to answer the questions. Very important. And if you've created a Facebook group because you weren't on Facebook just to be there, well, you'll have to tell me who you are, because I do not accept people that have created a Facebook group, 2 days before they actually, want to get in, unless I know who you are for sure. Okay, Mark Cope, nice to have you here. WA5153 SWL in Dallas, Texas. Nick Amendel from Romania. Liam Conlon, nice to have you here, Liam. And yes, Paul is a cutie. Bobby Burgess, WA5107 SWL in Louisiana, USA. Daniela, bonjour, nice to have you here. And he says, at the very least, the best sporting East season since 2007. I know that there's been a lot of it because there's been a lot of activity reported on the 11-meter band and 10 meters also. Kind of interesting. Crittenden Total 4. Nice to have you here. WA7297. So from Salem, Oregon. Jeff Williams, Southwest Cornwall. Nice to have you here, my friend. Rob in Phoenix, Arizona. Roberto Rojas. ¿Cómo está mi amigo? Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Nice to have you here from Argentina, my friend. Matt, MDK2 in Denver, Colorado. PA1SBM, hey Alex, in the Netherlands. Really nice to have you here. Matt says Paul looks as if he's not often grabbed for selfies. No, he doesn't really like to be picked up much. I would say that I probably pick up Paul maybe once a month, and even he doesn't like that. He likes it if I walk around. So I pick him up and make sure he's comfy, and I walk around and show him, places where he can't go because it's too high. That he'll accept because now he's in, observation mode. He's looking at what's happening where he can't usually go. But if I just pick him up and hold him for like 20 seconds, he immediately wants to get down. He doesn't like it. So, and I respect that. I mean, it's okay. Some cats like it, some cats don't. He doesn't like it, I remember when he was the next door neighbor's cat, she would pick him up and you could see that he was not happy. And she'd pick him up all the time. And I kind of respect Paul for that. It's like, you don't like it? It's okay. I'm not going to force you. Vince Perrault, salut. Bienvenue de Deux Montagnes. Toujours un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. Nice to have you on board from just very outside of Montreal. KF0 KF0OU. Good afternoon. Nice to have you here, my friend. Farney Jr., nice to have you here. René Charbonnier, nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. Nice to see all of your pictures and videos of you going out and doing radio stuff. It's always fun to see you guys having fun with radio and sharing pictures and videos. James Farley is from New Jersey. Nice to have you here. David, KJ4CMY from Central Georgia. Nice to have you on board. Brent, nice to have you on board from Brockville, Ontario, Canada. How are you, my friend? Hope you are okay and staying safe. Eyebrawler, nice to have you here from Arkansas. Don Warner, nice to have you here from Southwest Ohio. Shelly, nice to have you here from Pennsylvania. Old Radio Man. Nice to have you here. Says, thanks for the reminder to use USB cable with ferrite chokes on an SDR. Made a huge difference in birdies and noise on my ELAD FDM-S2 this week. It does make a difference. When you get a good cable, it really, really makes a difference, because that's the unfortunate side of using a computer with radio. For a long time, before SDRs existed, one of the things that, was a problem is that we, radios and computers didn't really go along very well. And most of the time you were listening to the radio, that meant you weren't using the computer unless you're really, your install is good and that your antennas are far from it. But with SDRs, now you have not only a radio that needs a computer, it's plugged on your computer, and that is where the noise might come from. So that is a problem. And so, using good USB cables with ferrite chokes does help tremendously in lowering the noise. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue de la France. C'est toujours un plaisir. J'espère que ça va bien là-bas et que tout va bien pour toi et ta famille. Rob says we are on the air. Yes, we are. James Bowers, nice to have you here from New Hampshire, KC1ENJ. Rodolfo65 from New York City. Nice to have you here. Mark Rich, nice to have you on board from England in sunny Europe. Cool. Kevin Wood, nice to have you here from Nova Scotia. Matt Ambale from Colorado. Of the Dawn from North Alabama. Legion, nice to have you here from Bavaria, Germany. Glad to have you here too. Really nice to have you on board. Yes, ça va bien, Alex. Really going well, my friend. Rob said, glad you're in good spirits. Yeah. You gotta. It's life. And it's, I don't know if it's because you get used to it, but it's, I don't know, the last couple of weeks been going well. But I got to say, I've got a new routine in the evening. When I get to a point where I'm kind of bored, I fire up my video games. And I don't know, I think that is making a difference. I now get, into the video games. I actually purchased the other, I play Halo Reach, but they have the other one, Halo, oh man, I forgot the name, but there's another one for PC that's available in the package, because they're all kind of redoing the Halo franchise for PC with better graphics and all. So I purchased the other one. It was like $10.99. I was like, yeah, for $10.99, come on. I'm going to play for hours for $10.99. So I'm having fun with that, and time really flies when you play a video game. So what I, like yesterday what I did, and I tuned to Voice of the Report of the Week on WRMI at 0200 on 70, what was it? 7780, I think, or 5850, I think was better. And I listened to a show all, for at 0200 UT, and played video games while listening to Voice of Report of the Week. Kind of passes time real fast, Kimberly, nice to have you here. K6YYL, 95 Fahrenheit today. Whoa, that's too hot for me. Although in California, it's probably more of a dry heat, but that's too hot for me. I don't like hot temperatures like that. Jerry DX, nice to have you here, my friend. John Pickney, nice to have you on board from Oakville, Virginia. W3XWT. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you here from Greenfield Park. Really, again? Man. Poor guy, poor people in Nova Scotia. Crazy. More gunshots reported. This is crazy. I mean, that other guy was nuts. I don't know what got into him. So really crazy. I just see it in the news here. And Just looking if anything, no, nothing more than just asking the population to stay safe. So this is crazy. Rob says 73, all my friends. Cool. Justin Gustafson. Nice to have you here from Rhode Island. Scott Cranston from Massachusetts. Leonard Lakey, nice to have you here from Wichita, Kansas. Joe Rodman, nice to have you here from the Chicago area. Griffiths Newt, nice to have you on board from the Laurentian Valley, Ontario, Canada. Neil Toombs, nice to have you here, Neil. M0CJM from the UK. Tech Guy, nice to have you on board. Ecadarius, hey, you tricked me. I thought this would be a live stream dedicated to Paul the Cat. He's outside, actually. You wanted to go outside just half an hour before the show. I looked just before the show started to see if he was there. He's gone and going around. It's a beautiful day here. It's a little cool, but it's, 11 Celsius. So it's in the 50s, I guess. Not as warm as it could be, but it's nice weather. Archer's Autocrafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you here from Massachusetts. And home of an Il Grundig Satellite 800, soon to be new home for replacement model. So a reset would have been a success if any audio came out. Oh man, so sad. And DRC, nice to have you here, my friend, from week 5 UK lockdown. Trond, nice to have you on board, my friend, from Norway. Pretty cool to see you here. Kevin Wood also saying, yep, another shooter alert in Nova Scotia. This is crazy. What else do we have? Tech Guy says, I thought this was all Paul radio stream. Okay, I'm going to go now. Bye. What else do we have? Bonjour, Fast Teddy. Nice to have you here from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Leonard Lakey says, I am 72-year retiree and have decided finally to get my amateur ticket. There's no age for amateur radio. It's perfect. Anytime is perfect. So cool. Really cool. I don't know what age is the youngest amateur radio licensee. I know that there's some really young kids that got their tickets, but there's no age. Brian Penny, nice to have you on board from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Any pirates out there? I haven't checked HF Underground. I'm going to check it out a little bit. Hope there's a few pirates while we do the show. Northern Dawn, nice to have you here. Realistic Elephant, nice to have you on board. Where are you located, my realistic elephant? Rob says, but 100% radio science memories and Mr. Paul. PF Radio received on Monday his first ever QSL card, an EQSL from Atlantic Radio International, broadcasting via channel 292. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. You know, Brian Penny actually gave me the idea because he's purchased a printer and is printing his EQSLs. You know, when I listen to pirate stations, I never write them and ask for a QSL card, an EQSL of any kind. But now that I have a good printer and some photo paper, I really need to write to them and let them know I'm listening and ask for an EQSL so I can actually print them out on the photo paper, because I mean they are QSLs, and it's kind of cool to have a QSL card from a pirate station. So I really need to set myself up and do this, because I mean there's been a lot of pirates lately. So this is cool. Congratulations. Maybe it's going to give you that what was missing to get more QSLs now on PLF Radio. Really nice. Keegan, XN80Xer, nice to have you here with his Ethon Grenadier Edition Field BT Radio. Rekray, nice to have you here from Turkey. I was listening to the Voice of Turkey last night. Their audio is a little low. It happens sometimes on Voice of Turkey. The audios are just a little too weak, but you know, it's one of my listening while I'm doing food, cooking food around 6 p.m. local, 22 UTC is when they broadcast their English program to Eastern North America. Alex Jones giving thumbs down. I didn't talk about his tinfoil hat, that's why. Catalin, nice to have you here from Germany. Zachary Owens, nice to have you here. Nice to have you here, Kathy. Levy Nathan, nice to have you here. It's nice to see you again from Israel. Terry Cook in Montana, KF7BQ. Pretty cool to have a global audience like this. Really nice. Scott, N5XTC, pretty good. Going pretty good. Hope you are well too, my friend. John Pickney, do you recall the Titanic pirate was sending last week? Were they using CQD or SOS or both? Did they use the Titanic's real call sign? You know what? I would have to go to HF Underground. Somebody picked up and decoded the full message of CW message. I recall seeing the message calling CQD. On my side, it was just too weak. It was there, and it was audible, but it was weak, so it was kind of difficult to. And my personal knowledge of Morse code isn't that great. I would have to check HF Underground. You go to HF Underground and go back to where they were sending. Somebody had posted the full Morse code message being sent out. But if I remember well, it was CQD that they sent, but I don't remember. And I do think there was a call sign in there and everything. I don't know if I can quickly check it out here. HF Underground. Let's check out Pirates. Let's go into Pirates from the past. So that was a few weeks ago. That was, let me just check it out here. So here I am. So it's further than that. It was like April 14th to 13th. Let me just go back here. Yeah, it's okay. Let me check it out here. I must be pretty close. April 11th. April. So I can't find it real quickly. Let me check it out here. Maybe I passed over it, going too fast. So here I'm on April 6th. That's too far away. That's too far away. Let's check it out. April 14th. Yes, keeping Yemen radio. Oh, did Radio Titanic CW. And here, okay, here is the message. So there's the full Morse code in Morse code, but there's the CQD. Titanic, we are sinking fast. Passenger are being put into boats. It's a bad decode though here, but somebody has the decode on the page here. So that is And somebody has a recording too. I don't know if anybody wants to copy. So here's the recording. So anybody who wants to take the time to decode it. This is the recording that somebody made of the Titanic Morse code pirate that was playing on April 14th. So if anybody wants to have fun decoding and checking it out, but they seem to have been using CQD, and so you guys can check it out. I just posted the link here. NID station 6925. I don't know if it's there right now. 6925. Anything here? 6925. Not hearing anything, but here at 2017 UT, 6925 AM. I don't even have a little peep of anything, so I'm not hearing it. 6925 AM, apparently a pirate at 2017 UT, which is 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes ago. Northern Dawn took his radio to the park today. Some strong signals above 12 megahertz. Cool. Kathleen, let's talk about very low frequencies and extra low frequencies, submarines and thunder. That's the sounds of the earth and all sorts of things. I need to do one of those receivers. They have those receivers that you can build yourself that you receive the hertz sounds because thunderstorms and Earth's geomagnetic field is doing a lot of spurious signals and whistlers and stuff all around that area of frequency. I just want to check out here to make sure. Elizabeth says hello to everybody. Nice to be here on this Friday. We have also Robert that is in Roswell, New Mexico, saying hello. Nice to be watching also the show. So thanks for being here, guys. Nice to have you here via email. And and you know, when you want to sneeze, it's just barely there. You're just on the edge, but it doesn't want to. G. Lee, nice to have you here from Fresno, California, WA6120SWL. Max Edstrong from Michigan, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? David says the call sign I think was MSY. Yeah, that rings a bell. MSY, maybe. Yeah. iRight61, nice to have you on board from Connecticut and one IWJ. Pretty cool. Rick Satter, nice to have you here. Lee Burkett, nice to have you on board in the middle of transferring shortwave broadcast from my HP laptop to audio cassette. Or the other way around, I would guess. These include Radio Luxembourg, Radio Canada. They are very interesting. So, yeah, from cassette to laptop, I would guess. It's the other way around, probably. That is cool. That is cool. And you can record them with Audacity. Audacity is a great piece of software for recording. What else do we have? What else do we have? PLF Radio, thanks to the Atlantic Radio International broadcast. I learned another French long-wave station left the air at the end of March, but it was unannounced. It was very discreet. Oh, really? Wow. You know, sometimes they don't make a lot of noise because they kind of want to test the water, if you want. So what they do is they just don't say much. And they look at, you know, is there a wave of protest after they left, or nobody seemed to care, really? because sometimes, you say you're going to close down, makes a wave of protest, and that wave of protest is then makes them change their mind. Sephiroth 86, nice to have you here from Germany. Understand the times. Nice to have you here from South Carolina, Tom. KC8KSK. Degen Radio Free Asia has issued their new QSL card. It shows the Biblis transmitter station located in southwest Germany. Oh, interesting. I don't have a Radio Free Asia QSL. I need one. And, actually, I don't remember who. But somebody yesterday was posting in the Shortwave group, hey, I'm, writing for QSL cards, and who are you guys writing to? And I thought, you know what? I haven't sent out for QSL in a long time. Maybe I should do this weekend. Maybe that's something I should have fun doing this weekend. I think it'd be nice. Max says strong. Anyone ever heard of an experimental amateur band in the ALF range that uses very low power and underground antennas? The lowest frequency range. So let me just check it out here. Long wave amateur radio bands. So amateur frequency allocations. So there's the lowest band that I see here is 2,200 meters. And it is from 135.7 to 137.8 kilohertz. And I tuned that part of the spectrum a few times. I know that these are very, very low power stations. I think they are very limited in the amount of power. Let me just, the maximum ERP power is 1 watt. And it's on secondary basis for the allocation. And I remember seeing people that have, I think it was in Monitoring Times a long time ago. They were talking about some stations, and some people were actually receiving some of these experimental amateur stations. This is very low, 135.7 to 137.8 kilohertz. That's in the long wave band. So this is kind of interesting. And 1 watt, I mean, that really limits a lot where and how what you're gonna listen to and how far. But apparently some people like DXing in that range. So kind of interesting to see that band. Vianney Arsenault, nice to have you here, my friend from the eastern part of the province of Quebec. Mark Cope, China Radio International English from Mali, 13630. Let's check it out. Coming in here. Pretty good. Pretty good, actually. S9 plus 10 here. China Radio International. This is from the Mali transmitter site in China. Yeah, Mali in China. I'm going to invent a new place. Mali in China. Mali in Africa. Mali in Africa. So 13630, pretty good signal actually. They haven't come back on their. Somebody asked me the other day. They haven't come back on their Albania transmitter site. I think we got to say goodbye to that Albania transmitter site. I mean, if they really wanted to do something and repair it, they would have done it a long time ago. It disappeared when there was that Albania earthquake. Never came back. So I guess we got to say goodbye. It's sad because the Albania transmitter site was really, really giving a big signal here in North America in the evenings. So now we got to rely on the Cuban relay, which unfortunately often has low audio. But now the Mali relay isn't too bad. They're also on 11640. Let's try that one. Yeah, that one isn't bad also. They're pretty much in the same level for me. 11,640 and 13,630. 11,640 and 13,630. Both of them are from Mali in Africa. Really nice to see their signal here. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Maybe there could have been something, Max Estron. It doesn't ring for me. I remember the lowest band of the 137 kilohertz, but with underground antennas, that doesn't ring a bell. Barry Solano, nice to have you here, Bernie, in Costa Rica. Nice to have you on board. Rick, W8PRR, nice to have you here from Western Ohio. Larry Massey, nice to have you here from Arizona. 103 degrees, woo, that's too hot for me. Justin Gustafson says, I've inherited my father's Transoceanic Zenith. Recently purchased a Texan R9012 and PL880. Cool. You're going to be all set up for some nice radio listening there. Skittle Wrinkler UK, nice to have you on board. New to the X team, got an FRG 8800, but used to just use an SDR. That's a nice radio. An FRG 8800 is a nice radio. You're gonna have fun with that. Welcome aboard, my friend. P1SBM Alex says this is an age. In the Netherlands, you have to be 14 before you're allowed to operate a ham radio. There is an age. So in the Netherlands, 14. I know that some young operators were younger than that, maybe in the US. Kevin Wood, my first wife was the youngest female ham in Canada when she passed her test. Oh, wow. My sister passed her test. She was in the 80s. She was about 40 years old. Let me just put not 40, sorry, 30. She was, so I was, okay, we're in 1982. I'm 13. I'm 23. Yeah, she was 30, about 30, or you know, maybe 31, 32 years old, roughly. Me and my sister have a huge age difference. Hardest Crafter's Kitchen, Joe, your PL600 videos were great. It's really, it really is becoming my go-to radio now. And I've been using it for Medium Wave DX. Very fun set. It's interesting because I started by doing just PL600. And then I was listening to something, and I was curious because I was wondering if it was just me. I thought my PL600 seemed to be a little deaf. Turns out probably it was more propagation than anything else. That wasn't the best on that evening. So I took out my PL680 to compare. And when I took out the 680, right next to it was the XH data. So I thought, yeah, let's take all three of them and let's make a video and just compare all three of them with the same settings. Somebody was complaining on the channel in comments, well, you should have played with this, you know, the filters and the settings and the, no, I put all three radio in the exact same or pretty close same settings, because that's how you test with the same bandwidth, the same type of settings, all three radios. Just listen to the audio, listen to how they perform in the same settings, not playing with any settings at all, just making sure all three radios are roughly in the same settings. And what clearly comes out is that the PL680, even though mine is out of frequency a little bit, which is driving some of you crazy, and I got used to it. I mean, it's not that I like it, but I got used to it. But I got to say, it's the one that has the best audio of all three. The PL680 is actually very nice. If the PL600 would have been designed with the same audio the PL680 has, wow, it would have been a perfect radio. And I've been enjoying using the PL600. It's been fun to bring back that radio that I had, and I haven't used the PL600 in more than a year, probably. I probably had not turned it on in more than a year. It was also fun because when I turned it on, it was still on the frequency that I last tuned to, which was the FM station of public radio, VPR, Vermont Public Radio Station, 107.9 FM. It also showed me how amazingly good the FM on this radio, the PL600, is. The PL600's FM performance is really great. Really great. Ruta 130 Radio, nice to have you on board. Greetings. Matt is hearing some activity on 27025. Let's check it out here if we hear something on the East Coast. I'll leave it there a little bit. Jacob Felix, nice to have you here from Kentucky. Pretty cool. Crittenden Tunnel 4, WRMI gives out EQSL cards. I received one after writing. Oh, really? Was it WRMI or was it This Is a Music Show QSL? Because my last WRMI QSL is on paper, but it's about 2 years ago. So maybe they have jumped to the EQSL side of things, which is okay. Johan Silkins, nice to have you here, my friend. Tech Guy, Come Quick Danger, CQD. Calif Radio, there is something I don't understand. Are stations broadcasting via channel 292 pirates? So channel 292 is not a pirate. Channel 292 is a licensed operation on shortwave. So what happens is you can actually, they are allowed to air whatever program they want over, as long as, you know, they obey a certain rules, you know, with language and all. But they actually, what they do is they pay airtime on channel 292 and broadcast their own shows. So they're not technically pirates because they operate via a legal channel 292 operation. It's the same as if a radio station would, or I would decide to, you know, pay airtime on WRMI. It's not a pirate. It's just your own show, basically. So some pirates do that and pay for airtime, which means they're not pirates technically anymore while they're doing that. I guess you weren't part of this show when that happened, but a couple of years back, I don't know if you guys remember, me and Stephen Cooper in the UK, he would arrange for the audio to be sent there, and I would pay. He paid once or twice, and I paid the other time. And the audio of my live show was actually broadcast via channel 292 for a couple of hours, if you guys remember. So that was fun. That was fun. I just need somebody to kind of put the audio stream to channel 292 for that to happen. But that was fun. I would do it again if somebody would offer me as a service as somebody that could send the audio to channel 292. I could arrange to pay channel 292 for a couple of live shows that would be live streamed in Europe. But that was fun. But so, you know, they are technically, you know, of course, some of them might be pirates, but when they do it through channel 292, they're technically not pirates anymore. What else do we have? Esteban, nice to have you here from the Canary Islands. Welcome aboard. Route 130 radio. Hey guys, I have a PL380. It would be better with an antenna. Well, if you put at least a piece of wire on that, clipped on that antenna, would probably improve the PL380. What I found with my own PL380 is that the PL380, when I compare it, so I compared it to the Radiwell R108, which is its closest competition, I would say. I've noticed that the Radiwell does have an edge of reception. It's a little more sensitive. So I think you would probably have a better reception, a little more reception on PL380 using a piece of wire or a little antenna plugged in on it for sure. Yarabamba, nice to have you here. Total Force says, want to thank Jill and everyone here who helped me figure out FSK and SSTV. Finally received and decoded the picture of This Is a Music Show this week. Cool. Cool. It is, the first time you decode, I still remember the first time I decoded digital modes. The first time you decode digital modes is so cool. So cool, I have to say. Really, really nice. Okay, let's try to go. Medina Mike, nice to have you on board. Calvin, 29, nice to have you here. Long piece of wire clipped up as high as you can on the 380 antenna. Yeah, pretty much. The Alarming Alarmist. SWL means shortwave listening. Shortwave listening. Or shortwave listener. Jay Watterson, 69. Nice to have you here. So you had some audio problem, Matambali. Could be the stream, the YouTube streaming. I need to set up differently anyways eventually. I'm still using Google Chrome as the main broadcasting of my of my live show right now. Cam Jones, nice to have you here, Jonesy. Jean Maplet, greetings, nice to have you on board. Bienvenue de Strasbourg en France. So, wow, gallbladder infection. Hope you are better, my friend. That is probably as painful as it sounds. Everybody saying hello to Elizabeth. And to Robert. So nice to have you here. Nice transceiver behind my back. Yes, actually it must be functional right now. If I turn on the power supply. Oh, it's not plugged in. Darn it. I forgot that the power supply isn't plugged in. I could have turned it on. It has the W6 LVP loop on it. Hubert Major, nice to have you here, Hubert. Muscle Fit. You taught me how to use my ICOM R20, and I bought the Texan PL680 after hearing your tutorials about it. Awesome, thanks. Cool. Cool. Really nice to have everybody here. No, Flash Player should never be updated on an HP or any computer. That doesn't work like that. That's a virus. Zanzibar, nice to have you here. Martin Moorman, nice to have you here from the Netherlands, PD1AJE. Cool. Anyways, Flash is almost over. At the end of the year, and even the browsers won't have Flash anymore. It's gone forever. The flash sites mostly are the sites that have little games on them. They are the ones using flash now, because I mean, no video playing site now uses this anymore. Northern Dawn, the transmitter used by Radio Monte Carlo on longwave is still available for contract use. Really? So a lot of them are still there. A lot of them are still there. John Pickney, I'll give the Titanic pirate a listen later. To be authentic, it should have used Spark. Yeah, of course. Of course, that would have been technically... Oh, it was you, DGen, about the QSL. I don't remember who, but I need to write. He gave me the idea that I really need to write. Martin, 135.7, 137.8, 1 watt ERP maximum, 472, 479 with 5 watt ERP maximum, except Alaska. So kind of interesting. Thanks, Calvin, for the nice globe. Got that at Christmas. Jim, nice to have you here from Rhode Island. What else do we have? CB Shortwave DX. Is the Sangean ATS 803A a good radio? I'm wondering to get one for 30 bucks. Sure, my PL660 is fine, but I want some retro stuff. You know, 25, 30 bucks. For 30 bucks, I would probably get the ATS 803A. It's also known as the Radio Shack DX440. Isn't that it? I think it is. Let me just make sure I'm not saying anything. Sangean ATS 803A Radio Shack DX. So yeah, it's the DX440. So if you ever heard of a Radio Shack DX440, it's the same thing, Sangean 803A. You know, get it. 30 bucks, get it. I would get it. At 30 bucks, I'd buy it. If it works well and it's in nice condition, I'd get it for 30 bucks. I'm looking at heham.net here. Everybody seems to be happy with it. So get it. 30 bucks, get it. Now it's going to be my fault. They're going to spend 30 bucks on a radio. Nice to have you here. SM68481 in Sweden, I believe, right? Matt, just add to lower the G5 RV due to the wind. Oh, man. PF Radio says channel 292 has two frequencies, 6070 and 7440. But apparently there are two others, 3955 and 9670. So yeah, it's possible. I know that I know that 6070 and 7440. Check It Media, nice to have you here from the Netherlands. Pretty cool. Trond, thank you, Joel, and several others for the Facebook group telling me about shortwave radio. Texan PL660 and XAG D808. I bought them. Next will be the Sea Crane Skywave. Cool. Nice radios. You'll have fun. You'll have fun. David remembers Radio Toronto broadcast from Albania. Yeah, now they're from WRMI, unfortunately. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, you know. Basically. Ray Mullen, nice to have you here. Jose Manuel Navarro. ¿Cómo está? From Cordoba, España. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Northern Dawn, just scanning for pirates. Kathleen, what exactly does the low button on the SDR play? Should I use it only when I am already tuned to the frequency that I want to listen to? So the low button is the locked button. It's the locked frequency. So technically, when you have the low, for example, low here is at 27019.3. That is normally showing me the center of my screen. That means 27019.3 is what frequency is centered on my display, and it's what also is called the local oscillator frequency. When you're on AM mode, and you're in ZIF mode, they should not match, or your AM audio will be distorted. They need to have a certain distance, but it's kind of the center frequency. So when you look at your display, if you take a wider chunk of the frequency display here in the SDR, the center of that big chunk is centered on that local oscillator frequency. It's centered on low. So if you are listening to 15,000 kilohertz and low says 14,500, if you look at the full range of frequency, the 10 megahertz, for example, if you go to 10 megahertz, the middle point of all the waterfall, the center point will be the one that is the low frequency. Vasti, sipping on Labatt's Light. Nice to have you here, Vasti. Untitled Chapter says, I'd love to do the audio mod on the PL600, but opening the case up and working with such small parts and potentially dropping screws scares me. Plugging in a set of external speakers is the best option. Yeah, I totally understand that. Solius Parsonis, nice to have you on board from Lithuania, Europe. Nice to have you here. My thoughts on the Geomagnetic Satellite 800, Vasti. Seems to be a pretty good radio. Most of the people I know that own one seem to really, really love it. Mr. Simba, is that the big Texan to your right below the clock? You're talking about this? This is the Ethon S350DL. Ethon S350DL. Jim Sturgeon, what frequency I'm on? 27025 right now for checking out Sportic eSkip. Did Gabriel get laid off? No, because he can work from home. So in his job, he can work from home, which is nice for a software company. That's a nice part of a tech company and software companies, is that you can actually work from home. So that's pretty cool. Calvin, if you got your license, you could maybe run a call in net during the live show. Yeah, that would be a lot to handle at the same time, but that could be kind of nice. Or there could be some net during the live show, that's for sure. That'd be cool. Lee Burkett, 6105, I would guess. His frequency I usually listen to Radio China, Radio International lately. It's classic rock. And Stafford also works Radio Caroline 648 kilohertz, new medium wave. DJ ZNS, hey, nice to have you here. Calvin's enjoying some Pinot Grigio tonight, some nice wine. Listens to WBCQ. DJ ZNS listens to WBCQ when they do something besides religion. Yeah, that's pretty much when I listen to WBCQ also. Anything except religion. Jerry says, I was listening to hams the other day from the Canary Islands. Yeah, one of them particularly, I know there's one station. I think it's always the same one. Or there's a few of them, but one particularly is really, really strong and comes in from the Canary Islands. Really, really is often on the bands doing some contacts. So, Calvin, anybody know if Brother Stairs back on the air? What's going on there? Yeah, I hear him all the time. He's via WRMI a lot. And WWCR also. Not a lot of news, except that, he's probably still waiting for his court date or something. I mean, someday I guess he's going to be gone. I don't know. Dijon listened to Radio Taiwan International before the show, and for 2 minutes the signal was suddenly completely lost. And all of a sudden it was there again, just as if someone turned the transmitter on and off. That could happen, and it happens actually. Joins a question I've forgot to answer a couple of weeks back. Somebody was asking me, when you listen to shortwave broadcasts and the signal drops and then comes back on, what happens? And the comment was because that person had heard that a few times, and sometimes a few times in the same, half hour or hour of broadcast. So one of the things that could happen, and remember, I think it was, a long time ago. I don't remember what station. I wonder if it was Radio Netherlands that were talking about some technical aspects of shortwave broadcasting. And they were saying that sometimes, shortwave broadcasters have huge antenna arrays. And what happens is that sometimes when it's very windy, the movement of the antenna gives the transmitter readings that go out of range of what is normal for the transmission. So sometimes the transmitter will shut off to make sure that it doesn't get damaged, but will come back on when the readings that it has gets back to normal. So that is one thing that can happen with huge shortwave transmitters and really big curtain array antennas, is that if it's very, very windy one day, the movement that happens and the weather around it, the antenna, can sometimes have the transmitter suddenly shut off to prevent any damage, because the readings of a standing wave, for example, might be out of range. Of course, there's all sorts of glitches and things that could happen that makes the transmitter go off the air, power outages, and so on, But it happens often when you listen to shortwave. Ja, happy Friday. Nice to have you here. Matt, coronal mass ejections. Actually, here's the thing. So radio blackouts. Matt says, I don't believe CMEs cause radio blackouts. Solar flares can, though. So here's the thing. So a solar flare can and will most of the time cause a radio blackout because of the amount of protons that it sends out real quick. So there are two things when the sun goes berserk. So a solar flare can happen, and that solar flare sends out protons that arrive to Earth within 8 minutes. It goes at the same speed. It's called a proton event. That's the same speed as the speed of light. So that's the first effect of a solar flare. Those protons can disrupt totally the ionosphere, totally. And it creates a radio blackout, because it kind of, what happens is when they arrive near Earth, they kind of destroy the ionosphere pretty much. So the ionosphere can't support any, propagation of signals. And usually that effect doesn't last very long. It's going to last from a few minutes to, at the most intense ones, a couple of hours. It is mostly only on the day side of the Earth. So if a solar flare erupts and you're listening to signals on the night side of the planet, you probably won't see an effect. If you're on the day side, and it happened probably to us all the time, it happened to me several times, listening to a signal, then the signal fades away. And it's because a solar flare erupted, and 8 minutes later, protons were all around the planet and creating, destroying the ionosphere. Now, after that, there's a second effect, which is a shock wave that comes from solar flare. If it's directed towards the Earth, there's a mass of electrons that is, particles from the sun. Those are much slower. So it's count as that being part of the atmosphere of the sun that's blown away. And it's electrically charged particles in there. And what happens is that cloud doesn't move as fast. So, and the second step is that the cloud leaves the sun, might take anywhere from, I believe it's something like 10 or 12 hours for the fastest of all ejections from solar flares, to several days for the ones that are the slowest. And that one, it actually reaches the Earth as a different effect. What it does is it interacts with a magnetic field, and it causes a geomagnetic storm, which also can affect shortwave, because the interaction of the geomagnetic field and the Earth's ionosphere are kind of tied somehow, so that can create some problems also in propagation. Now, coronal mass ejections. When a solar flare erupts, it actually does a CME. It's a coronal mass ejection, which is that part that leaves and takes several days to come towards the Earth. Now, CMEs can cause radio blackouts when they are leaving the sun for one reason. It depends what phenomena is sending out the coronal mass ejection. So a solar flare erupts, it will cause a CME. So the solar flare itself will, of course, make a radio blackout, and the CME will follow a couple of days later. But a CME on its own can happen also, because the magnetic fields on the sun are not always stable. Sometimes you don't even need a sunspot to create, because often the solar flares are related to sunspots. But CMEs can actually happen on their own. And that's what happened actually last week. On Monday, there was a geomagnetic storm. It caught everybody by surprise, because it was a CME. It was a coronal mass ejection from a magnetic filament that just snapped on the sun, because the sun is a big ball of magnetized particles of all sorts. Its magnetic field is holding a lot of filaments kind of into an electric field around it. So what happens is that those fields of electricity have polarities, and sometimes they twist and turn, and without any sunspot can actually snap and create a coronal mass ejection. A coronal mass ejection does not necessarily mean you'll have a blackout. It depends on what caused it. But it can also, sometimes that snapping can create an effect a little bit like a solar flare, and have some protons come and do some kind of radio blackouts. But most radio blackouts that are intense are most of the time done with solar flares, more than just a snap of magnetic field that does a CME. So, so technically, yes, there could be radio blackouts. There probably are, but they're weaker than what a solar flare will do in general, because most CMEs from a snapped magnetic field are most of the time weaker than what a solar flare will actually throw out. So that's pretty much the explanation here. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here, my friend. Martin Bally tiled back to 720p seems to help a bit. Yeah, but they are YouTube trolling back a little bit of the quality because of the everybody at home. Brett Wayne, nice to have you here from Salamanca, New York, KC2NXP. What else do we have? What else do we have? Northern Dawn just managed to hook up my real antenna out the window with radio. Cool. Having better signals? DJZNS in Chicago, getting WBCQ in most stations as well. Cool. Tom DXer, nice to have you on board, my friend, from the Hudson Valley, New York. Tio, how are you, my friend? You're looking younger every time you go live. Oh, man. That's good to hear. I thought I was getting older. Hope you are well, my friend, and staying safe. Vanadium, nice to have you here, my friend. Starting small, Texan R909 or the Texan R9012. You know, an R9012 is a nice radio. You'll see. You'll see. Dear Forestry, nice to have you here, my friend. Vienna Astano's got great signals on 20 meters today. Vasti. Joe, W1INC in Pennacook, New Hampshire. Cool. John Pigney, just listened to part of the recording of the Titanic Pirate, except for not using Spark, reasonably authentic. Used Titanic's call sign MJY in good simulation of 2 ops. Okay, cool. Cool. So, you know, I mean, come on. If you're to do a Titanic-esque broadcast with Morse code, better have, you know, and know what you're talking about and do it as authentic as possible. The only missing part is, you know, spark gap. And by the way, that transmitter was AM mode. It was Morse code audio in the AM mode, which means he could have imitated spark gap sound in Morse code to make it even real. Mike Cooper, nice to have you on board from the UK. M0MBJ. Or G. MBG. J. I'm all mixed up with the J and the G's now. Ah, man. Can voice be transmitted on frequencies lower than sound frequencies? Well, the thing is that sound is mechanical, where a radio signal is magnetic. It's a electromagnetic spectrum. So they're not the same thing. But that's the thing. You're talking of 2 different things. I believe you can transmit a electromagnetic radio signal on 3 kilohertz, which is 3,000 hertz. But you won't hear it because it's not a mechanical sound. It's not moving the air around you for your ears to hear, because your ear is listening to the vibration of the air with the voice, with the sounds, where electromagnetic energy, your body is not getting that. Even the eyes, somebody one day said, well, you know, it's receiving electromagnetic. No, it's receiving the other particle, because there's the photons have two ways of being there: electromagnetic and particle. The eyes see the particle side of it. The electromagnetic side of it can be seen with an electronic device. It's a different way of seeing the universe. Calvin, a long shot, but anyone here know where there's a broken Idly Ham International Jumbo for sale? Magnum S9, I want to put it in the case along with 200 watt amplifier. Huh. Atambale, the X440 also has an external antenna connection worth $30, and you can blame Gilles for it. So that's like having a coupon. Jim Devers, nice to have you here. CB Shortwave, yes, in Sweden, west of. Nice to have you here from Sweden. Yeah, I remembered you were from Sweden, but Walter Zabel, nice to have you here. Nice SDR, greetings from Germany. Nice to have you here. Mike India 3 from 27555. 11 meter calling frequency. Jerry SRNEC, nice to have you here, my friend. Deer Forestry, I have owned. Oops, lost my spot here. So Deer Forestry owned 4 DX440 radios. All of them were very sensitive and very selective. And the sideband on that radio is amazing. If you get a nice one, it has great audio and no one can fault it. So people seem to be happy. Jim Devers is trying to get Voice of Korea, but WBCQ is interfering with that. What else do we have? Yeah, I need to check that out. I have a machine here with Linux and Linux Mint. I should be, you know what? I've got the RSP1A doing nothing. I think that would be nice. I know a lot of people want to have, you know, I need to get more time to make these videos on the radio channel here. I know a lot of people want me to have videos on SDR Play and RSP devices running on SDR Uno and some settings and stuff. And so you're asking for SP1A under Linux with GQRX and so on. Need to check all of that out. Are you talking about the Texan AN48X antenna? That loop? It's very, yeah, okay, it's that's the AN48X. It is very, very, it's okay for long wave, medium wave, but on shortwave, I don't recommend it. It's, you know, if you're going to buy the AN40X, get the MLA30. It's $10 more, but you'll get something that works really well. It's very tough to tune on shortwave. Ricardo Silva, nice to have you here from Portugal. I've seen that ILG radio shortwave database long time ago, but I've totally forgot about this. I need to check this out. I need to check this out for sure. I haven't been there a long time. I'm gonna check it out and come back to you with this because I remember. John Pickney, Spark, the original spread spectrum technology. Yep, pretty much. Legion 6195. Yes, Voice of America via is it Botswana or? Yeah, it's coming in. Coming in. It's not super strong because there's still a lot of daylight here, but 6195 is coming in. This is from, is it Botswana or Sao Tome? 6195 at this time is from Botswana. Yeah, 2200. This is from Botswana. Relay. Hear it better in the wintertime, though. Deer Forestry, yeah, I haven't. I was not impressed with the AN48X. Sheldon Harvey, all clear notices issued by CMP, local police in Halifax. No evidence of any shootings or anything. I guess you know what? They've probably a lot of people on the edge there. So when something sounds like a gun, they probably are easy on the calling the cops thing. And of course, the cops are not taking any chances. What do we have? Deer Forestry, when I get my general class, I plan on putting a unit mobile in the car. I doubt if I could run any power here in the neighborhood without a disaster. That probably would be what I will be wondering and hoping is if I, when I get my hand license, I start transmitting, not getting into any neighbor's devices. William Moser, nice to have you here, my friend. Hirofumi Yokoyama, good morning from Japan. Nice to have you here. Hey, Andre, Cool AM Radio, nice to have you here. Been hearing your broadcasts on Shortwave quite a few times in the past couple of weeks. Nice to hear your broadcast on the bands. Really cool. What else do we have? Sephiroth 86, satisfied with the Texan AN48X loop antenna, my Texan PL880. And it can be. It's impossible that it works better than the ML830 Sephiroth. You haven't installed it right or something. The ML830 Plus is actually 1,000 times better and doesn't need tuning. The only thing I could see is maybe it overloads the Texan PL880 and you're not getting good performance because I've got the ML830 Plus, ML830, AN48X. Personal experience, AN48X is halfway between useful and junk, especially on shortwave. On shortwave is more junk than anything else. Mark Cope, Cuban Lady on 11635. Let's hear that, señorita. I do have a very weak signal. What else do we have? If I miss out on anybody I haven't said hi, please say hello because I'm going a little faster here. Erica Trell, nice to have you on board. We were so much older then. We're younger than now. Oh, that's it. Theo, I'm confused about dipoles. If someone can share an opinion, can lightning hit dipoles or only verticals? Lightning can hit any type of antenna, honestly. Any type of antenna. Lightning is very unique in its way of doing things, and you never know how sometimes it could work. You can put, technically a lightning can hit or will hit the highest thing that it finds to have the shortest path available. But the shortest path is in two ways. It's not just in distance. So it's not necessarily going to hit the highest thing. It might just hit a specific thing that in reality is where the least resistance is. So yeah, you can, I'm pretty sure lightning can hit a dipole. But most people that got hit by lightning aren't with their antennas. Most of them was not even direct hit. And that's the thing you got to be careful with antennas. Even if all your life you never got direct hit by lightning, a lightning bolt that is very close to you is enough electromagnetic energy to blow out your radio. So it doesn't have to even touch it. It just needs to be very close. Jean-Marc, let's test it to negative to COVID-19. That's good. That's good. 6922 a.m. Let me go back to 6925. There was something reported earlier. Here I've got nothing around 6925 right now. Benny Charbonnier, take care, my friends. See you on Facebook. Always nice to have you on board. John Pickney. Yes, I know what the Carrington event is, John Pickney. I've talked about it in the past, which is the Carrington event is the huge solar flare that came out of the sun in the 1850 or something like that. I've read about it several times. That is a whopper of a solar flare. And it created really, really intense currents in the telegraph, even setting some telegraph stations on fire. That was an intense event. Johnny the Xer, nice to have you here. W3JMC in Pennsylvania. Dear Forestry, love my SDR Play RSPDX. That radio is solid as a rock. And what I really love about it over the RSP1A is the adjustable preamp with the overload warning. So, but you do have the overload warning on the RSP1A also. So cool, nice to see that you like your device. The RSP devices are great. Really, really cool. What else do we have? What else do we have? Anybody else that I've not said hello or anything? Mr. Simba says, used to own an ICOM ICR70. Radios like the XH data are better or equal in performance. So, you know, it's hard to, it's different, okay? Because you're talking about a tabletop. It's kind of a difficult thing to really compare a tabletop and a portable. The ICOM R70, R71A are great radios at the times. But I will say this, and I'll base this observation on a more modern radio, my ICOM SCR 8500. What I would say is that there is an edge to using a tabletop of good quality. And I think that a lot of these older radios are still amazingly good today and compare very well to what we use in technology today. That said, the XH data or radio like that in sensitivity is surprising in what it was going to bring you. But the tabletop models usually are made where they can withstand better, very strong signals. So having an outdoor antenna, for example, your ICR70 might actually withstand that better on certain frequency ranges than the XH data would, because it's not meant to be used in that type of environment. It's meant to be used with a telescopic or a very short wire type antenna. So it's very difficult to compare. They are two different beasts, but the XH data is going to be not that far from in performance style than the ICOM ICR70, I would say, but it might not reach it. I'm not aware of how well the R70 performed back in the days, but if it's traditional to a good ICOM tabletop, it's probably as good, if not the R70. The ICOM is probably slightly better than any portables today you have. And in the audio department and many different things, the R70, it's a very tough. I don't like to compare a portable and a tabletop, because you're kind of comparing two beasts that are not meant for the same type of listening experience, basically. Karyono Wasmin, nice to have you here from Indonesia. The Rifleman 336, nice to have you here. And 8 UCN from Southwest Ohio. Pretty good here. Dear Forestry, how much are you looking forward to getting on the band's stocking gel? That's I'm sure I'm going to love it, and I'm sure it's going to be cool. Okay, that I have no doubt I'm going to be happy. But I'm very happy as a listener also. Take care, PLF Radio. It was nice to have you on board. So if I'll there's a Fastload send me a link. You can have online testing, so that might actually make me get my license faster, not having to go somewhere and do all of the stuff. So but I know I love it. I know that when the day I get my hand license, I know that the first thing I'm gonna want to do is get on the air. I will want to get on the air. That I totally know. I know myself. I know I'm gonna first thing I want to do is I want to make a contact and try digital modes and stuff. Like I was talking the other day, what probably one of my fun parts would be, so I like to talk, so I'll probably like to use a single sideband voice, but I will probably be trying to have fun with all sorts of weird modes that nobody uses in the digital modes. I'm not that fond of. I will do it, but I'm not that fond of using FT8 and stuff like that. I will be more interested in other aspects of the hobby, but then again, I don't know. When I get there, maybe I'm gonna like, ooh, this is so cool, Ja asks, what's the craziest conversation you have heard listening to Shortwave? Craziest conversation. Wow. I've heard a lot of stuff. It depends on what you mean by crazy. There's, the craziest was really annoying and idiots on the ham bands, like on 7200 lower sideband, or there used to be a gang. I don't know if they're still using 14313 upper sideband. Depends what you mean by craziest. I remember one crazy in the sense of most amazing is a rescue mission from the Atlantic Ocean, a boat on fire, in the maritime bands, and hearing the rescue team communicating. It was like being there. That impressed me a lot. So it's crazy in its own way. I've heard so many things. Mark Fisher, nice to have you here from Southern Illinois. David in Barcelona, EA3IEK, nice to have you on board. Raptor 22 Stout. ¿Cómo está, mi amigo? Mr. Fantastic Science, nice to have you on board from Italy. Take care, Kathleen. Nice to have you on board. Dear Forestry, I wish I could receive more than beacons on Longwave. I know so many other people around the world got some good programming. Well, parts of Europe, Middle East have Longwave stations there. And here in North America, most people that receive Longwave broadcasts are close to the ocean. I've never really heard anything else than beacons here too, honestly. Clark Chilson, nice to have you on board from Southwest Wisconsin. KB9SJD. Mickey Delmage, nice to have you here from Alberta, Canada. Yes, that has intrigued me a lot, Mickey. So anyone know the real story behind Transworld Radio? So they had said that they would shut down in December of last year. And I have seen the reports on many places, including on the World Radio Group. I've heard it on AWR Wavescan. They mentioned it. But I've not heard the official story of anything. But the reason I know that they haven't shut down is a couple of weeks back. It was, I think it was like 0400 or something. I tuned to 4775 or somewhere there. And heard something. And I was scrambling to see what it was, and I go to the IBI space list. It says it's Transworld Radio Swaziland, and it's supposed to shut down like at 04:35 or something. And at 04:35, signal goes off, and I hear the distinct interval signal of TWR Swaziland. And I'm like, okay, they're still on. So it did intrigue me also, Mickey, because, yeah, it's still there. It still exists. Yet they were reported widely, including, we talked about it in the International Radar Report because it was reported everywhere. It seems they're still on. I don't know what happened. Theo, what is the best lightning arrestor I can buy to be safe from lightning? A direct hit is not going to protect you in any way with anything. And a lightning arrestor will mostly protect from a close encounter with a lightning strike with a certain level, but not protect your equipment totally. The best thing you could do, the really best thing you could do is if you're not using your equipment for a while, or if you're going away for a few days, you just don't take any chances. You unplug the antenna from the radio. Calvin says, I even seen it hit a tree outside a coffee shop I was. Split the tree like it was nothing, and the lights all started flickering and went out for a few seconds after the strike. Oh, yeah, it's totally amazing. Totally amazing. I saw a lightning bolt hit a dead tree when I was out north at my father's shack. And I was with a friend, and we started hearing rumble of thunder. And but it wasn't raining, and it was kind of far away, and we didn't see any real lightning or anything. So we decided to stay outside, which is the wrong thing to do because the official security if you want to stay secure of lightning and all of that is if you hear thunder, even if you don't see lightning, you should already be inside because you never know what could happen. So we're in our lawn chairs, and there's a dead tree near the lake, and it's, I don't know, I'd say it's about 100 feet away from where we are, 150 feet away from where we are. And we are looking in that direction because it's a beautiful lake and mountains, and it's, and we're talking, and, you hear the thunder. It's that day, that afternoon where everything feels heavy, very humid, very hot. And we're talking and talking and talking. And as we're looking at the lake, it happened in, quarter second. Lightning hit the tree that was the dead tree. Half of it fell in the lake. Half of it, and it was a really huge tree. Half of it fell in the lake. The other half of it was half on fire. And I remember we looked at ourselves and it's like, well, I think it's time to go inside. That was extremely impressive, honestly. That was very, very impressive, I have to say. David Barcelona says, even if lightning doesn't directly hit an antenna, it is possible for arcing to happen. Absolutely, because there's a big magnetic field around all of it also. Dear Forestry says, you're way more experienced with the SRR play devices. I know how to use the wide noise blanker, but how the heck do you use the narrow? I've not found any info on that one. I'll have to do videos. I think one of the things that SDR Play would have liked when they sent me the RSPDX, because they have mentioned that they would like me to kind of do some instruction videos that they could add to their own website so that people can understand a little more. And there's a lot of things to explain. As I use it more and more, there's even more stuff that I learn and that I see, and including personal observations of weird things happening. Somebody yesterday posted on the Facebook group he was hearing something on 2700 kilohertz, and I looked at a video, and there's actually a strong signal there in AM that sounds like a station. And one of the things that I noticed of the SDR Play devices, the RSP1A and the RSPDX, also has the same glitch. Depending on the low frequency you're using, whoops, here, you sometimes will have mixing products of real signals that will pop up where they shouldn't be. And they have a very interesting characteristic. When you have that, if you tune up, you'll notice that the signal goes on the reverse direction than every other signal. It's a very weird thing that happens with the device. So what you could do is change the low frequency, and then you go tune somewhere else and come back, and you notice the signal's gone. It's kind of a mixing product that happens. And it's common to, it's probably common to all RSP devices, I would guess, if they're all the same design at the base. But you got to be careful, because below I've started seeing those below 5 megahertz. Below 5 megahertz, it sometimes happens that you'll hear a shortwave broadcast that's in the 49 meter band in 4 megahertz, for example. Sometimes it's the other way around. It might be a medium wave signal that pops up at 2 megahertz, and it has to do with mixing products. And if you change the low frequency, or if you just shut down SDR Uno, bring it back up, often you'll see that it resets to a different setting, and that different setting suddenly stops that weird spurious signal from appearing. But these are videos I want to make because I want to have people understand why. You know, there's a lot of things. I remember the first RSP1A that I got. Okay, I plugged that thing in, really happy, and I used it. But the first thing I came across is, why the hell are all AM signals distorted in the audio? And that's where I learned that when you're in ZIF mode, low and tuned frequency need to be apart. They can't be the same. In single sideband, it doesn't matter, but in AM, it distorts the audio. But it took me, you know, it took me a while to, you know, it took me an hour of Googling until somebody said, oh, you got to, you know, change the low frequency. You'll see it's okay. Ooh, and I did it, and it was okay, you know. What else do we have? Liam Conlon, yeah, Text and Loop AN48X is out. I would buy the MLA30 in any time. Bye, more ammo. Nice to have you here from Durango, Colorado. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? David KJ4CMY loves listening, but it's nice to make two-way contact every now and then. Legion, since you mentioned video games, do you know The Sims, and if yes, do you play it? I played The Sims a long time ago. When it came out the first time, I started playing The Sims, and I remember I played The Sims, and after a while, I remember telling a friend of mine that asked me, do you still play The Sims? And I said, no, I'm not. Why? Because I've learned one thing. It stresses me out like real life. And I have enough of real life stressing me out without a fake virtual life stressing me out. But I played a long time ago. That's a good idea, David, KJ4CMY. When I transmit for the first time, do it live. Yes, that is a good. That is a good. I will do it. I'll do it. I'll be happy to do it. Rufus Newt, my only reason for not having a ham license is to travel involved to see a tester. Yeah, you know what? That is something that I think prevents more people than we think from getting the license. Part of it for me was that also getting a tester that nobody. That's the thing I don't understand. Nobody tests here in Montreal. It's a big city. Why the hell isn't there one person doing it here? No, I have to go outside. Honestly, even if I would be ready, I'm not going outside to go for a tester. You want me to be a ham? Come here, or give me a reason, an easy way to test. I think that has become way too complicated. And I think this is totally wrong for the hobby. You should not have to go somewhere for testing. You got the internet today? We can test on the internet. Yes, I know people can cheat, so that's why there needs to be a way to test. So you could have a virtual examiner do it in a specific way that you can see you're not cheating and searching on the internet for answers. I think this is the new way that everything needs to be done. Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to go 20 miles away, 30 miles away for testing. Forget it. Forget it. And I'm sure they're losing a lot of hams to having to go somewhere to test that is not nearby. Rampton, nice to have you on board. Field Hell is a blast. What else do we have? What else do we have? Oh yeah, and the radio, in general radio, there's so much stuff. I told you guys, T.O., I remember telling the story so many times. I'll still remember. As Calvin says, crazy as I'd say, you heard Joe was the UHF mobile phone long ago with that neighbor. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. If we talk general radio, so there's there was a new neighbor downstairs. She saw new neighbors. There were a couple, and he worked at Hydro-Quebec up north. So he would be gone for months at a time. So I was new here. It was we're in what, 2000? I was new, and I was scanning with my. I think I was scanning with a Pro 2006 or something. And I get a phone on 900 megahertz because around that time, 2000, 900 megahertz phone were the ones that were popular. And I started listening, and my next door neighbor is having phone sex with her boyfriend on the phone, and I'm hearing everything, and touch this, touch that, and the moaning and the So I'm listening in, and I'm like, oh God, that's my next door neighbor having phone sex with her boyfriend. And the next morning, I went to the mailbox to get the mail, and she's next to me. And she's like, oh, how are you? And I'm fine, and blah blah blah. And it's like, how are you? And in my head, it was like, I was a phone sex yesterday. That was one moment where that was the most awkward moment at the mailbox I've ever lived here with her. And it's like, yeah, well, I heard your phone sex yesterday. I'm not gonna say it because I look like a pervert, but it was by accident, by the way, Ah, man, you know, the 800 megahertz analog cell phone band. So much stuff there. Where I used to live before, the corner street was a bar, and it was a well-known bar for drug dealers. And I was hearing all night calls on because I was close to that cell tower of people calling in for the drugs and stuff. It was like, oh man, okay. They're not kidding. I remember thinking, because everybody was telling me, oh, there's full of drugs there. And I'm like, oh, okay. But when I started listening to the cell phone, it was like, well, I guess everybody's right. It seems to be like the drug place of the neighborhood. Oh man. Sakura DX, nice to have you on board from Tokyo. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. So that was crazy stuff. That was crazy stuff. Oh man, sorry for you, dear Forestry. Hope you hope things come back to normal. David, AE3IEK in Barcelona definitely wants to complete a QSO with you. And the current propagation conditions, FT8 would be the best, but I want to hear you on SSB as well. We're going to do a single sideband 20-meter contact. We are capable of that. So I'll let you know. Oh, man. What else do we have? What else do we have? Lee Burkett will closely monitor the airwaves this week, as well as shortwave listening. I will try the DX Pirate Radio. You'll hear some, I'm sure. Eric Cottrell, not crazy, but the most interesting thing I've heard on shortwave was U.S. Coast Guard helicopters communicating with U.S. CGCOM stats on 5692, 5696 during the San Francisco earthquake back in 1989. Wow. That's cool. They were operating near the partially collapsed Bay Bridge and were rescuing people out of the water. Oh, man. Ejan, I thought that Canada uses the metric system. The depends on your age. I'm in the age where you're in a mixed metric system. I call it the imperial metrics. We're all mixed up here. So I buy my so what should I say? So I buy a liter of milk, but I will ask for half a pound of ground beef. That gives you an idea. Man. Ricardo Silva, I'm here for less than half an hour. Now already a crash course on lightning and solar phenomena. Oh, man. Timmy73, nice to have you on board. Thinking of getting into ham radio? Please do. Please do. Fast load. Get that license. It's never going to be easier, ever. The online protocol is temporary. As soon as the confinement is done, the legacy method will come back. Well, it shouldn't. Maybe I should get my license to change all of that, because we could change all of that. And what do we have? What do we have? Dear Forestry. Dear Forestry, let me just say what I'm missing. Tried the MLA30 with copper wire, and it absolutely sucked. I changed it back to the original loop within half an hour of laying it out. I now believe the MLA is good to go out of the box. Cariano Wasman, how can we avoid electricity disturbances? You mean like interference? It's a complex thing, you know. There's a lot of things to be careful about, the way we set up and all of it. Ja, can't wait to talk to you on HF. Hurry up and get your ticket. John Pigman. John Pickney says altitude has a lot to do with likelihood of lightning hit. That's for sure. It does help. It does help. Absolutely. The higher you are, the more you you have a chance. Cool, Lee Burkett. Take care, mate. Rampton, do you know if there are any SDR that will alert to a signal in a given range of noise if one appears? Use of 6-meter propagation. If a beacon appears, then the SDR will alert you. I don't know if it's such a feature, honestly, but it would be a nice feature if you're in a range where signals might appear at a point and we want to be alerted. That would be nice. Mark Cope, was the neighbor hot? Yeah, she was okay. Oh man, I don't know. It's the kind of thing you don't talk about. I can tell you that. Harry G, nice to have you here. KD9FCZ from Illinois, working on his general. Cool. And in the new ham channel, official ham channel. Better get that now. Official ham channel. Oh man. What else do we have? What else do we have? Rufus Newt says, I'm mixed too, Shell. I'll do both. Oh, man. What else do we have? Oh, yeah, same here. I'm actually, I have to actually think. When I go to get wire, sometimes they have the pre-made rolls. And I remember one day looking at it, it was like 30 meters, 30 meters, 30. Oh, that's like 100 feet. Okay. That's kind of 100 feet-ish. 30 meters. Oh, man. John Smith, nice to have you on board from Nashville. Just made 2 Morse code contacts to Maryland and Wisconsin. QRP with roof mag mount antenna. Wow, that's cool. WA7IIC. Pretty cool. /B. BC4AD, Anton. Nice to have you here. Me on the air rather than listening. That's both fun, you know. Fast load analog cell phone listing was a blast. Doing mods on scanners to get the frequency. Oh man, there's so many things. So many things, you know, and things that you don't do. I still remember that guy down the street. I still remember that guy down the street. You know, had to calls someone up and says, hey, you know that, you know, $500 I owe you? Yeah. You want to have it today? I'm going to pass by your home. And the other guy says, well, I won't be home today. He says, well, you know, oh, okay. So, but you can leave it in the mailbox. And the guy says, what's your address? And the guy gives the full address. And I'm like, wow, this is just like 5 houses down. I could make a quick $500 just by going in the mailbox in the next hour, because the guy's going to leave $500 in the mailbox. $500. You know, if I'd be a cricket guy, I would be, you know, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, cell phones, absolutely, John Pinkney. The channel 70 to 83. That's why they stopped TVs at 69 at some point, because the old TVs, those that have seen old TVs, I remember the first TVs we had at home. UHF would go to channel 83, and then at some point TVs went up to 69 only, and that's because channel 70 to 83, the frequency range there, that's what was used for the analog cell band. So on some TVs, you could sometimes by using the fine tuning, actually listen to conversations. Joe, some about nuance. Nice to have you here from Brazil. Caleb, why not do a live stream over shortwave? Well, because it would have to be some, pirate or something. It actually happened in the past. Dear Forestry, did you have that sexy sweater when you talked to her? No, it was the summertime or something. I don't remember. I remember I was just like, oh God. K4MJV, been studying for the extra license for years, still no luck. Take it easy and take it slowly. Does anyone know if WWCR sends out QSLs? Yes, they do, and they actually are asking for reports all the time. When I listen to Ask WWCR, they're asking for reports constantly. Apparently, they're not receiving any. There was a couple of weeks back, I was listening to Ask WWCR on Saturday evening, and they were mentioning that they had something like 2 reception reports in the last 6 months or something, that they weren't getting anything. And that made them wonder about how their signal gets out. They know the signal gets out because the funniest thing is that they were talking about how Voice of the Report of the Week was actually able to give them an idea of how their signal's getting out, because he's got emails from people. But WWCR themselves said they weren't receiving reports much. So do write to them, because they are apparently sending back QSLs. Do send them a QSL. It could take a little while, DGen. When you write a station, remember that some of them take a long time to respond. Even US, remember, it's not their primary focus. It's not their primary focus. They don't have to do it as a main thing. They do it when they have time. So, there's a lot of stuff to decode with digital modes, dear Forestry. It's not just the ham bands. Weather charts from weather fact stations, all sorts of things like that. Some stuff. The other couple of weeks back, I was decoding Navtex from the Argentine station. It was nice to hear Argentina, Navtex weather report for Antarctica and stuff. So, Mickey Dalmage, been on HF since February and made QSOs with 43 countries with 100 watts of VE6 IDX. That is cool. That is cool. Bandwidth is a ham's waist size. Oh, man, this is crazy. Rolf Crandon says, remember picking up cell phone conversations between docs using my VCR tuner around 1985. Oh, man. Rufus says, I repaired garage sales TVs for college funds, 50 cents to $2 for a TV that apparently did not work, hardly ever, just adjustments. Oh, man. I forgot it's wear red on Friday. I'm wearing my my CKUT 90.3 shirt. That's what I have here. Oh, man. What else do we have? What else do we have? So we're watching the Shortwave show here. Any pirates on the air right now? Check it out. Need Jeff on the ground. Any pirates on the air right now? What's been reported lately? 90 Pirates, 6950 upper sideband. So 6950. Am I hearing anything? 6950. Not hearing anything on 6950. Somebody reported a unID'd station on 6922 AM mode, but I see nothing here on the display. So it seems that it's a little quiet right now. One that has been interesting, Radio Azteca, has been on a few times in the past couple of weeks, and has some interesting show. More interesting, at least, than just having music like a lot of pirates do. Learn Nigel Lawrence. Nice to have you here, G0MEJ. Pretty cool. Our first Newt looks forward to the International Radar Report every Sunday. Well, the show is sent this week, so it's pretty nice. Let me just check out here what's inbox and what's. So we send the show. I send the show about edited the show. Send the show about half an hour after me and Sheldon did it today. So it'll be ready for Sunday morning. International Radio Report. For those that don't know, is a show about radio, 30-minute show with me and Sheldon Harvey. We recorded on Friday because of the fact that we can't get to the station and send it in. It's 14:30 UTC on ckut.ca. Moore Hamo says, also remember picking up mobile conversations between channels on UHF, VHF channels on my little mini TV in the bedroom as a kid. So cool. Yeah, 6950 upper sideband, apparently, Cool AM radio. Not hearing anything here. Take care, Tom DXer. It's nice to have you here. Rufus Newt is hooked into the CIDX now. Great newsletter. Once again, if you want to have the CIDX messenger bulletin, it's a great little bulletin, and you can ask for a sample copy if you haven't done so already at CIDX Club. So let me just put it here. Messenger bulletin CIDX Club at yahoo.com. Please do not ask more than once. If you haven't asked, you can ask for the sample bulletin, CIDX Club at yahoo.com. You'll see a great little a great little publication that is really cool, and you of course have all sorts of information about radio in there. That's really, really cool. 5945, great signals, Radio Romania in Germany. Cool. Well, if I can hear it here, 5945. Anything here? Yeah, coming in good. 5945, Radio Romania, coming in not bad at all. 5945 kilohertz. The first time I hear it on that frequency. This, I believe, is for Europe mostly. So it's really nice to hear that. So really, really cool. And so that's pretty much it here. So hey guys, we've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm going to call it quits for tonight. We'll be thinking about maybe doing a Sunday show. So we'll let you guys know on Sunday. Possible Sunday show. So hope that you enjoyed today's show, even though a little shorter than usual. And hope that you enjoyed our show today. It was nice to have all of you here as usual. We'll be doing some hamburgers on the barbecue tonight, and then probably more radio listening. So this is going to be, of course, pretty much my night. So stay safe, everybody. Take care. It's always fun to have you here. We are live twice a week. Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 20 UTC. Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 20 UTC. Did I say 20 on Wednesday? It's 0 UTC. 20 UTC. And who knows? Maybe a show on Sunday. We'll see. And hope that you... I'm going to check it out, DGen, because I know that the Sunday shows that I've been doing were pretty late in general. I'm going to try to do one earlier. So stay safe, everybody. Take care, and see you soon. Always fun to be here. Bye-bye, everyone.